Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the World Class Championship Wrestling Review Series. October 15th, 1988 is our episode for today. We have 3 episodes left. Vince Apollo and Black Bart open this program. And, really basic match here. Bart still a mainstay in the area. Crossbody by Apollo early does not get him the victory he thinks he wants. And Apollo really doesn't do a heck of a lot from what I know after his run here. So it's kind of one of those big things. Big drop kick. And again, by Apollo. Takes a few arm wringer shots. It is Black Bart who manages a big throat-crushing, clothesline across the top rope early, and then we kind of move into Bart with more dominance here. Obviously, Black Bart, a former WCWA world champion, that's a big deal, and that's kind of where that goes into. And a sunset flip 1-2 by Apollo. Apollo does not get all he wants on a drop kick. Black Bart manages to kind of brush him off, kind of not take a bump, whatever the case may be. But anyhow, Bart manages to get a victory after a a couple of drop kicks attempted by his adversary, and then just kind of dumps him down with a throw maneuver and a leg drop. Bart with your victory, 1, 2, 3. Then we go to the present Superclass 3 press conference. Vern Gagne announces, I guess in a more formal way, the AWA effort for a unified pay-per-view in Superclass 3. Jerry Jarrett part of this as well. He's glad that the CWA is going to be involved. Lee Marshall calling all of this. Lawler here says he's going to be the first ever, or first in a long time, true world champion. Kerry Von Erich says that he's representing the unification of the AWA and WCWA championship at Superclass 3 in December. And then we hear various other promotions involved. Stanley Blackburn, the figurehead president of the AWA, talks about talking with other promoters. Then they bring in a guy who claims to be the lawyer that brought all this together, which is kind of funny. Buddy Roberts basically keeps his promise that the Samoans are once again your champions, tag team champions. He's talking about them being family, more family to him than the Freebirds ever were. And then we see the return of an interruption of a promo with Kevin Von Erich. Von Erich, of course, getting attacked by the Super Ninja and other people there. Obviously, Kendo Nagasaki. Super Ninja, it does end up being the Great Muta. Having done some research, I had known that he was part of things. I just didn't realize that I knew he had done Florida work and some other areas in North America before the Muta debut in WCW. I did not know that here was one of them. We then move to a short promo from Iceman King Parsons encouraging everybody to order Superclass 3 on pay-per-view. Doctor Who and Steve Cox. Doctor Who, not the sci-fi television show doctor, but a guy wearing a white mask. So almost reminds me of Tug Taylor. Might have been Tug Taylor in a mask. Don't know. Anyway, Steve Cox not exactly having a fun time there with the weight disparage, and Doctor Who manages to kind of hold his own using power. Obviously, speed versus power is the story of the matchup. Not particularly a terribly thrilling match. But, they kind of go at it for a little bit here. Taylor, or Doctor Who, not happy with what happens in the confines of the match, but Steve Cox manages to get the Russian leg sweep and the victory. We see a contract signing for the Super Clash 3 main event with Lawler and his adversary in Kerry Von Erich. They kind of go through that. Both championships are on the table. They hype how to order the pay-per-view, etc. and so forth. Remember, pay-per-view not nearly as big a thing in 1988 as it turned out to be years later. It was a staple several a month as we went through the mid-90s, but 1988 still a relatively new concept. Ken Castle and Eric Emery there. Ken Castle, not really exactly a household name, and also not in the best shape. Emery gets pushed off. Emery, of course, your light heavyweight champion several times. He manages to hit a diving headbutt, among other things, on Ken Castle. Castle done quickly with his enhancement work here. Akbar and Iceman Parsons taunt Kendall Windham in a promo. But before we get there, we have a Kendall Windham versus Eric Emery match. Obviously, the taunting has to do with not signing up with Akbar. Kendall Windham does have a decent match here with Eric Emery. The Emery manages to carry him a little bit, but the Beast runs out and tries to attack Windham and interferes in that match. Then we go with the Beast and the Iceman versus Kerry Von Erich and Kendall Windham to close the program. They are given about 10 minutes. Obviously, Beast and Iceman managed by Skandor Akbar. And obviously, the Iceman still has the Texas Championship at this point. I believe he defends that at the Super Clash show. More and more, I feel like I need to go watch that Super Clash show again. I haven't watched that in nearly 20 years, if not longer. Big spinning fist by Kerry Von Erich on Jimmy Jack Funk. Anyway, power slam or body slam on the Beast. Beast runs to the outside, avoiding Kerry Von Erich. Von Erich looks really strong. There is a major size discrepancy with the Beast and Kendall Windham. Windham still looks super small, even looked skinny in his WCW run later in the late 90s. Don't know where he went for. I think he went to jail for a couple of years, if I remember correctly. So that might have hurt his, well, obviously did hurt his career. Anyway, the Beast manages to get a choke-style hold on his opponent. Iceman King Parsons manages to hold the trunks and steal a victory from Kendall Windham. And we close this program on that basis. And we will be back with more right after this.